So take your time to find a comfortable seat. As always, if you're never switching your habitual cross-legged position, you want to try to remind yourself to do that once in a while. Yeah. You might actually take your hands to the flesh of the buttocks, pull it out from under the sit bone so you really have a strong grounded base. Sitting up a little bit taller, starting to articulate the column of your spine. Allow your eyes to close and let that be an indication to soften some of the muscles of your face, to soften through your low jaw, the back of your throat, temples. And without really moving around too much, just begin to sense how your body is resting on the floor or on any prop support beneath you. And begin to determine if it feels like one side, right or left, is a little bit more weighted, even by just the slightest variance of an ounce. And as you start to feel into that, like really subtle imbalance, which is probably in some way present for most of us, right? We tend to lean a little bit right or left. You're gonna really like slowly in the movement begin to even that out. So pressing down a little bit more through that lighter side, maybe shifting some weight over there. And when you feel like, again, you've perfectly landed even, there's not even the slightest little bit of difference, can you sit taller with that downward pressure? A brightening, clearing. And allow there to be even more of a softening through your shoulders, your arms, your belly, the muscles of your back, without losing any integrity of that feeling of lengthen and lift, an awakening of the body. And begin to breathe a little bit deeper right away, in and out of your nose. You know, lots of us are working with allergies this time of year. If you were practicing last week, we did a little bit of work with acupressure points. So if you're feeling stuff, if your nasal passages feel a little bit blocked, you can always take your fingers and just give a little bit of pressure right at the tip of the nostrils, helping to boost immunity, helping to clear those nasal passages. You can give a little pressure right at the bridge of the nose. Otherwise, just breathing really steady in and out of your nose. Full and deep conscious breaths. You start to find a deeper sense of presence, right? I'm here right now. I'm aware in this moment, in this new day, this fresh start. I was joking around. I think it was with Michelle over the weekend. I kind of see every day as like, yeah, let's just start over. Let's do it all over again. But I really feel that way. And yoga really teaches that way, that no matter how many times we begin or fail or fall or stand, right? There's always a newness, a fresh start, the potential, right, to do something a little bit different. So tapping into, right, your own potential, fresh start, new beginning, Chance to get up all over again. And if it feels right for you, you might even bring your hands together in Anjali Mudra, a little tap of your chin to your chest, a moment to set intention. Intention, right, is about this next hour, this 60 minutes of practice, but it could also be about our bigger lives, right? About the day that we have, about the month that's before us, about this new season of spring, right? This new chapter in the world. So what is it that you can see yourself working with, not just for an hour, but maybe that can extend a little bit beyond, right? The physical practice of yoga, which is where so much of the difficulty of this practice comes from, when we try to take it, right, from this little rubber rectangle and bring it off our mat into our worlds, into our day, into our relationships, into our work. Just sitting with your intention, sitting with whatever that higher purpose is, your sankalpa. Allowing yourself to be distracted or pulled away, but try to stay totally present, aware, awake with your breath, and still breathing deeper. Before we go anywhere, take another scan over the body, your seated posture. Notice if there's any place you've lost strength and integrity. Bring it back. And also notice if there's any space where you're over efforting, that you're starting to tense or grip, and then bring the balance of ease and softening there. We'll open practice with one round of Om, inhaling all together. Take your hands onto your sides, let your eyes softly blink open, a feeling of kind of coming back into the space. You might take any prop that you're on off to the side. We're going to come forward into a tabletop, aligning your knees hip width distance apart, hands shoulder width distance, fingers spread nice and wide apart. And as you land, tops of the feet press down, activate your shins onto the earth. Inhale, ground your belly coming forward into cow. Exhale, arch your spine, lifting back up into cat. You're going to take a few rounds, just starting to move at your own pace, starting to move with your own breath, inhaling forward, belly drops. The back of the heart lifts up, a heavying of your head, relaxing your neck, jaw. Again, inhale, coming forward, and you're starting to find this more water-like quality to your movement. So there's a sense of warming, right? I'm warming up with a gentle movement from this night of stillness. And you can almost start to imagine like singing a little love song to your body, especially those spaces that feel like they need a little bit of extra tension. And if you have a spot in your back that's a little stiff, that's not moving so clearly, so easily today. You can even close your eyes again in a sense of pratyahara, of removing your awareness from the outside world and taking it a little bit deeper to the inner world. It's a practice of self-study, of watching your habits, your thoughts, your emotions, right? The physical sensations, the way that you're breathing. So starting to tune into that. This movement calls you to expand, right? In any way, you're welcome to just find that natural expression. Maybe you start to barrel roll your ribs or move your shoulders or get into your head and neck. Maybe you begin to circle your hips. There's really not a right or a wrong way to be in your body, to land in this morning body, but just to start to explore what would feel good. Right? Where do I need a little bit more space and stretch and length, and where do I need a little bit more strength and stability? And if it feels really nice to just stay in that more linear pathway of cat and cow, there's nothing wrong with that either. Might start to think about coming back into a downward facing dog. So taking your time, finding like any little expression of movement that caused you, that feels like it would help kind of clear out a path for this new day. But when you do come into your down dog, we're gonna layer on a little bit of a twist here. So you'll take your feet, and there's no rush. If you're still on all fours, feel welcome to stay there, but you're gonna step your feet as wide as the outer edges of your mat and walk your hands a little bit closer to your toes. So at most one hand's length, just a few inches. Again, let your head hang here so we're not over efforting in the cervical spine or the muscles that border the neck. And your left hand is going to anchor down to the midline. As you inhale, right hand comes across and under, grabbing hold of the outer line of the left leg. Anywhere you can grab hold. It might be your thigh, your shin, your ankle, the outer edge of your foot. Inhale, right hand replaces the left on the ground. And as you exhale, left hand grabs hold of the right outer line, anywhere you can reach. We're just going to start to alternate like that. Inhale, left hand down. Reaches to grab the left. Inhale, back to the center. Exhale, grabbing with the opposite side. And you're going to do this a few times with enough repetition that you start to feel here again, there's a sense of moving a little bit more fluidly, moving with the qualities of water, undisturbed, right? A sense of flowing, a little more grace and ease. Yeah, and then take one more to either side, ending in a place that feels balanced and even. And as you inhale that final time, both hands on the ground, exhale, your fingers walk back towards your toes, feet stay nice and wide. Breathe in, take a bend in your knees, maybe even turning your toes out to the sides, bring your hips down into your squat, Malasana, hands together at the heart. And I say this all the time, but find that feeling of resistance, of pressing your arms into your legs and your legs resisting and pressing back into your arms. So we're not just getting opening, but we're balancing it with stability, with strength. Because we want both things in life. We want to be flexible, but we also want to be strong. And then just as we started in our seat, right, feeling the evenness of the right side body and the left, can you find that here on your feet? Again, we're going to layer on a little twist. Inhale, right hand comes down to the ground, pressing into the right leg. Left arm rises up to the sky. Exhale, hands come back to the heart, even the weight in your feet, find the center point. Inhale, left hand down, right arm rises up. Okay, chest opening, heart open. Exhale, hands come back to the midline, even the weight in the feet. And you're going to take a couple just like that. Breathe in, full breath, stretching your fingers wide apart. Exhale, finding the center. And as you're here, right, allowing the body to move into a little bit of repetition. So maybe there's less thought about what the physical body has to do. You might focus a little more energy back to the intention that you set at the start of the practice. Sort of that overarching, larger purpose or way of being, not just on your mat, but in your life. You might start to envision like it's already true, right? That intention, it's already true. You're already realizing it right now, right here in this moment. And then again, you're going to take one more to each side. So you're ending in a place that feels balanced, right? Even. And when you do come back, finding resistance again. So tapping into that anchor point of strength. Inhale, hands to the ground, hips up to the sky, nice and slow because we've been down here for a while. So we want to release with caution. Heel toe your feet in, hips width distance apart. Take a little bend in your knees and let the upper body just hang. Maybe you close your eyes again. As you start to feel some sensation in the hips, neutralize and balance. Maybe you give your head a little shake, yes, no, maybe. Make sure you're not over-efforting in the places that tend to carry stress. Inhale, come up to stand, either rolling your spine or lifting with a flat back. And take your shoulders up to your ears, onto your back, and down. Mountain pose, Tadasana. Now, belly is strong and breathing, right, as your feet anchor into the earth. Again, maybe here too, a sense of like, can I balance the right side to the left side? Can I feel that really steady? Now, be honest. Is there anyone who doesn't remember what a sun salute is? Because you're going to do it on your own. So now's the time. Like a little lift of the hand. Okay. We're going to go for 10 sun salutes. 10. Yeah, that should be enough to really build some heat. And you get to decide the variation that you're going to do. You can switch it up. They could be 10 entirely different ones. You could do 10 of the same flowing pathway. Right? So I'm just going to get going. I'm going to try and do them with you. Sometimes we find moving on our own to be really difficult. So many of us were like very diligent with our studio practice, right? And then in those first few months, I heard from so many people that it started to fall apart a little bit. Those first few months of closure. So reconnecting to this is your practice. This is the time that you've set aside for yourself. Can you find a meditative quality about it? So our mind is going to think that's what it does. But there's a sense of banishing reaction to thought. You're just getting synced up with your breath and the flow of your own body. A sense of graceful ease, anchored into a seat of strength. I'm not going to do them. I'm not feeling up for it. You can add in vinyasas. You can take a couple breaths in child pose in between. Speed up your breath and speed up the pace of the movement. You could slow down your breath and slow down the pace of the movement. And even as you're practicing, as you're flowing, as you're finding this moving meditation, there here too is a sense of what is my intention? What was that I set, that I anchored to? Do I need to be moving with more power? Or do I need to be moving with a little more ease? Even as we're flowing, building warmth, and tapping into what is over efforting, what's happening in your low jaw, what's happening in your shoulders, or the gripping of your hands or your feet. You always move through and with the sense of right and evenness and in the balance of effort and ease, of sthira and sukha. And as you start to flow with a greater awareness of the physical body, you need to switch up the pathway of your morning salute. You need to throw in a little twist. You need to get a calf stretched. You need to really focus on bringing some ease to the back. Yeah, nice. Layers coming off, heat starting to build. Feel that. You might even have that little like first sensation of sweat. And there's a sense of, right, just continuing without breaking the flow. And it's a sense of flow that helps us stay present, right? When we're in a flow state, it's almost like there's no such thing as time. There's just now, the heart fully present. Nice. I'm gonna start to pick on you guys a little bit if I can see you. Yeah, Michelle, tone the belly as you lift up a little. Yeah, yeah. Right, stabilize the low back. And Sally, as you come up into a high lunge, see if you can really hold the front leg steady. So I'm seeing it shake a little bit. Can we be a little more focused on holding it steady? Andrew, in your up dog, try to bring your shoulder blades a little bit closer together behind the heart. Yeah. Larry, that half lift, heart pulls forward out of the waist. So how much length can you get in the side bodies? Right, all the way through the crown of the head, including the neck. Chelsea, a little more weight in the pointer finger and the thumb. Nice, yeah. And then if you've started to shorten your breath, which I imagine some of us have, can you bring back the depth of it, the intention of the breathing, that the movement of the body is really being initiated just by the breath. You might even check in again. Do I need to alter something? Do I need to change the pathway of movement? Do I need a twist? Do I need right ease in the back? Do I need a little more stretch in the calf? What is it that I need as I explore, right, this relationship of connection, of awareness, of self studies? What do I am? So I think you've got a couple more probably. We're all moving at a different pace, and you're moving at the perfect pace for you. And if you're not, if you're like, no, I'm not, right, then that needs to be changed, adjusted. Let me find that perfect pace. Is it slower? Is it faster? Yeah, nice. But when we come back, we're going to meet in child's pose, and there's no rush. It's whenever you get there. When you do land in child's pose, any variation that you want to find there, right? Could be more active, could be more passive. But again, you might touch in, right, to that connection to a higher purpose. Right? What am I practicing with alongside, intending? And how can I make my movements, my way of being, my way of breathing align with that? You need to see a couple people landing. Notice that warmth that you've built up and notice how physical sensation has changed in some way from when you first sat down on your mat for practice this morning. What's a little different now? And then even though, right, we're each in our own home, practicing our own practice, right, there's a sense of sort of coming back to the wholeness of community. Back to this larger sangha that we're practicing alongside. And you might even feel like just the energetic, that subtle energy field of being present even on the screen, right, with other people. And go ahead and count out 5 really slow, intentional breaths here. And try to pay attention to the intricacy of breathing, right? That amazing network that keeps us alive, that keeps us present, that keeps us here. And a little gratitude for it. When you finish that 5th cycle of breath in your timing, you'll lift back up into a downward facing dog. And without feeling rushed when you get there, you'll step your feet as wide as the outer edges of the mat. So we're in that slightly wider stance, downward facing dog. Inhale, hands walk all the way back to the toes. And exhale, toes turn out, bend the knees, sink the hips, Mahalasana. Inhale, hands to the ground, hips up to the sky, toes forward. Exhale, bend your knees, hang the weight of your torso and fold. Inhale, roll or come to stand with a flat back, all the way up to mountain, shoulders lift up to your ears, onto your back and down. So the feet are a little bit wider here. Yeah, nice. Now as you inhale, take a big circle of your arms out to the side and up to the sky. As you exhale, bend at your elbows and bring your hands to just rest on the back of your head. As you inhale, take a side body arch over to the right or left, wherever you went. Exhale, extend your top arm overhead. Inhale, rebend your hand or elbow to the back of the head, lift back up to stand. Exhale, arch over to the other side, maybe left. Inhale, extend your right arm overhead or that top arm overhead. Exhale, bend at the elbow, lift back up to stand. We're gonna do that a few times as you inhale, side body arch. Exhale, top arm extends. Inhale, rebend the elbow as you lift to stand. Exhale, take it to the opposite direction. You can start to move again with a sense of fluidity. Full breath in, full breath out. Just kind of getting into the side body stretch. Try to keep the belly toned so that it's strong enough to sustain any pressure from the back or prevent any pressure from the spine, right? But also soft enough to be breathing fully. You might find that you need to adjust the stance of your feet. Nice, and then you're gonna take one more to each side, and this time it feels like, oh, it's the deepest variation. It's the deepest side stretch that I've taken of the set. Nice, and then you're gonna come back up through center. Let your hands drop down as you step your feet a little wider, toes out, heels in. Inhale, take a bend in your knees, bring your hands to your upper thighs. Goddess pose. You might wiggle around to find like that perfect placement on your feet as you settle into your hips. And there's a feeling here of your hands pressing your legs down and away. So it's a subtle movement. It's okay to let your shoulders lift up to your ears. This is like the one posture where you're kind of, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. And then you're resting in like this hammock of your hips. Your arms, your legs, nice and stable. The hips just kind of dropping down. And you can start to feel like if your shoulders are lifting up, right, that you're almost kind of squeezing the back of your neck, right? You're just gonna kind of let your left ear drop over to the left. And it's subtle, right? But you get like a little bit of massage. If you really let your shoulders lift all the way up to your ears, you get like a little pressure on the side of the neck. Yeah. And then you're gonna bring your head through center and drop it over to the other side, the right. A little bit of pressure on the neck. Full breaths. Yeah, inhale, lift your head back up to center. Exhale, drop your right shoulder to your left inner thigh, pressing that right leg away from you. Inhale, come back to the center. Exhale, drop the left shoulder into the right. And we're going to stay low in the hips. Do that a couple more times. Inhale up to the midline. Exhale, adding in a little twist to the left. Inhale up to the center. Exhale, twisting to the right. And then you've just got one more in each direction. Nice. Breathe in that final time. Come up through center. Take control over the legs. Take your arms up to the sky. Goddess pose. Oh, those knees are still bent. Nice. And then straighten the leg, toes forward. Exhale, hands to the ground. Wide-legged bow. Prasarita. Moment to hang in this fold. Again, you might bob your head a little. Yes, no, maybe. Feeling again that effort release. Now, as you inhale, take a quarter turn to your right, so you're facing the short edge of the mat, palms plant. Exhale, step right foot back to the left, high plank pose. Shoulders right over the wrist, belly lifting up towards the ground. There's an active pushing away of the earth. Inhale, shift your shoulders a little forward. We're gonna do this slow. Exhale, lower halfway down. And then one at a time, flip onto the tops of your toes. Holding in Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog, pulling shoulder blades behind the heart, toning through the belly. Exhale, hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Full breath in, full breath out. Without lifting left foot to the sky, step it forward to the front of the mat. Right hand grounds on your shoulder. Inhale, left arm circles out and up. Exhale, hand comes back down towards the earth. Inhale, left foot steps into down dog. We're gonna do that a few times. Exhale, right foot steps forward without lifting your foot high. So you're using a little more abdominal strength. Left hand to the ground, inhale, right arm up. Exhale, right hand down. Inhale, right foot steps back, downward facing dog. And again, exhale, left foot steps forward. Inhale, left arm lifts. Exhale, left hand grounds. Inhale, left foot steps back. Exhale, right foot forward. Inhale, right arm lifts. Exhale, right hand grounds. Inhale, right foot steps back. And then you're going to keep going just like that as you try to articulate each individual movement. See if you can start to lift your foot, right, without a sound. So there's no little slipping sound on the mat. Yeah, right, really using the abdominal strength to take a soft step forward. Nice, Chelsea. Yeah. You're getting the core to work a little bit. You should feel some efforting in the arms. Where we shouldn't feel too much work is in the low jaw, right? The clenching of teeth, the back of throat. Again, you're just articulating each individual movement. Now, the next time that your left foot steps forward, you're going to keep it there. And again, you'll inhale the arm up, exhale your left hand down, but this time, drop your right knee onto the floor. Inhale, straighten your left leg into a half split. Energetically pulling your heel back on the ground, take your heart forward out of the waist. So you're almost getting a little more space in the lower side body, like underneath the low side rib and above the hip. Yeah, feel that like little subtle adjustment. Now, as you inhale, coming forward into the left foot, hands come a little forward at the front toes. Exhale, right foot rises to the sky, standing split. Breathe in, take a half lift, keep your fingers to the ground and set left finger catty corner to the left pinky toe. As you exhale, start to roll your hips open into the side, Ardha Chandrasana. Right fingers rise up towards the sky. Yeah, now we haven't done a ton with open hips. So just kind of feel, how is it to move into that shape a little bit slower and to start to orient the hips open to the side. You might get a little lighter on your bottom left hand. Okay? Maybe fingers barely touch the ground. Maybe the left hand lifts all the way up off the floor. Nice. Now softly step back into Virabhadrasana 2. Right foot steps back. Yeah. Shoulders are right over the hips. Right? Arms are reaching out. So that the right hand is reaching back into the past, the left hand reaching forward into the future, and the heart stands still in the present. So finding that little bit of balance. And then again, you're going to count out 5 really deep intentional breaths. Try not to lift up out of the front knee, right? But let that feel like a moment of challenge. When you reach your 6th inhalation, lift up to the side edge of the mat, toes turn forward to the wide edge. Exhale, hands come down the midline, full forward fold. Breathe in, take a half lift, long spine. Exhale, bend into your right knee, sink your hips down and over to the right, Skandasana, side lunge. Inhale, lift back up to the center. Exhale, bend into your left knee, sink your hips down and over to the left. And then again, you're gonna just alternate a little bit from side to side. Full breath in, full breath out. For a little more core stability, you could float your hands off the ground. You could get into the hips and stay low without really rising up in the middle. Nice, and then the next time that you find yourself side lunge over the right, you're gonna take a quarter turn to the short edge of the mat and drop your left knee down. Inhale, straighten your right leg, half split. Again, feel there's a dragging of your heel back and an oppositional pull of your heart forward. So you want to feel like that little extra subtle stretch, right, below the lowest rib and above the top of the pelvis. Nice. Inhale, shift forward, knee comes over your ankle. Take your fingers forward of your right toes. Exhale, left foot to the sky, standing split. Right, inhale, half lift, planting your right fingers catty corner to right pinky toe. Exhale, start to roll the hips open. Ardha Chandra on the other side. We're not locking out the right standing leg. We're barely bending the knee. Maybe the right fingers start to touch the floor a little lighter. Maybe the right hand floats up to the heart. And then see it first in your mind's eye, Virabhadrasana 2. And with an exhale, softly arrive. And there's a sense of settling in. Settling in. One hand forward into the future. One hand back into the past. And the heart in the present moment. It's that balance between the past and the future, the balance of being aware and breathing now and here in this moment that keeps us peaceful. Not full of anxiety, not full of depression, but steady. And try not to lift up out of the front knee. Allow yourself to face, right, a little bit of challenge, but in a strong and supported way. Nice. And then inhale, arms up to the sky, right leg straightens, quarter turn to the wide edge of the mat, toes forward. Exhale, hands down to the floor, Prasarita. Wide-legged fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, deep bend in your left knee, sink your hips down and over to the left. Inhale, up through the middle. Exhale, bend into the right knee, hips sink down and over to the right. And then you're just gonna kind of alternate side to side a couple times here. Exhale to the left. Exhale to the right. And you might try to do something you haven't done. You sink your hips all the way down toward the ground when they're back to the right, left toes turn up. Find some exploration, some pathway of movement that's less habitual, less familiar. And then again, you'll take one more to each side. And when you find yourself in a side lunge over to the left, you'll take a quarter turn to the short edge of the mat. Inhale, left foot steps back to the right, plank pose. Shoulders right over the wrists, shift a little forward on the toes, nice and slow. Exhale, lower halfway down to the ground. One at a time, flip onto the tops of your feet. Inhale, push down, heart lifts, upward facing dog. Exhale, hips rise to the sky, downward facing dog. Use 3 deep breaths here. Fourth inhale, come high up on your tippy toes. Exhale, knees ground down to the earth. Keep your toes tucked. Shift your hips back towards your heels. Child's pose with a little tuck of the toes. Keep your toes tucked, and as you inhale, lift back up to your hands and knees, find your tabletop. Exhale, round your back into cat, back of the heart lifts. Inhale, drop your belly to the ground. And exhale, back of the heart lifts, hands push down onto the earth. Inhale, belly drops. And then you'll take one more, moving with breath. As you exhale, find a neutral spine, untuck your toes, take your hips back towards your heels, and just come to sit, palms face down on the thighs. If this is okay for your knees, right? You can always bring some height under the hips. If it doesn't feel healthy for your knees, you can sit cross-legged instead. I'm going to, again, take a moment, eyes closed, and feel within. What is present? Start to become aware of the physical body. Weight distribution of right and left. See if you can even that out by just the slightest, littlest variance. Get really even in the way that you're landed. Notice where you could bring a little more strength and stability. Where you could bring a little more softening and ease. Sitting within the echo of the asana practice. And then when it feels right for you, you'll start to make your way onto your back, setting yourself up in Shavasana. And we're going to be in Shavasana for like a good 5 minutes. Taking any prop support that helps you land more comfortably, more at ease. Last time, taking the care to feel balanced and even in the way that you're resting. Your feet and legs an even distance apart. And the same is true for your hands and arms and shoulders. Your neck in line with the rest of your spine. Your head heavy and centered. Yoga teaches us how to live and breathe and be in the world in a more balanced way. And it's from that state of balance, state of equanimity, that we can move into our potential. That we can realign to what's most important. What makes us feel most like ourselves. Bringing your intention back to the forefront of your mind. Knowing that the real work begins as we take that intention and embody it off of the mat. So taking this new day, right, this fresh start, this brand new beginning, and living in balance and in alignment with the intention that we set. And we're going to end our practice this morning right here, resting. So take your time, take as much time as you need, and make your way out when you feel ready. Namaste.